Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Joanna Stone, the editorial director of the Retail AI Council. I'm here today to welcome you to our session, Why Brands Should Adopt Gen AI, MACH, and Omnichannel Commerce. In today's webinar, we'll explore how top brands are transforming digital commerce and customer experience through Gen AI, MACH, and unified commerce. As we look forward to 2025, these advancements are essential for staying competitive and meeting evolving consumer experiences and expectations. We're thrilled to have with us Megan Good, the CMO of Kibo, Nupar Marwa, Solutions Engineer and Leader at Kibo, and Shirley Gao, CDIO of PacSun. Now let's welcome Megan to kick off this discussion.
Thank you so much, Joanna, and thank you everyone who's joining us here today. We are very excited to be here. Before we get started, we just wanted to do some quick introductions. I'll start with Shirley. Shirley, do you want to introduce yourself and your background?
Sure. Thank you for having me. I'm Shirley Gao. I'm the Chief Digital and Information Officer at PacSun. PacSun is a youth brand that we serve our customers online and in retail stores. I've been having the privilege working in retail for over 20 years, and I'm also currently a member of the Retail AI Council.
Thank you, Shirley. And Newport?
Hello, everyone. I'm Nupar Marwa. I lead our solution engineering here at Kibo. I have 15 plus years of experience in commerce, order management space, not just from an engineering side, but also from a professional services side. So I have implemented the solutions as well. Right now, since last 10 years, I've been leading the solution engineering. I have worked on many technologies before joining Kibo, to name a few, Sterling Commerce, if people have heard of that, and then Salesforce. Very nice to do this today.
Thank you, Nooper. And hi, everyone. I'm Megan, and I manage marketing over at Kibo. I have over a decade of experience in marketing leadership across commerce, SaaS, content management, digital experience companies. I'm very excited to share some of my guidance here too. And so I guess just to kick it off today, we're going to chat with you about some technology advancements and strategies that you can use for the year ahead. We're going to cover omnichannel commerce strategies. We're going to cover AI and some of the use cases there that you can deploy as part of your e-commerce strategy. And then we're going to wrap by discussing the benefits of modern composable technology. We definitely encourage you to ask questions. There's a Q&A tab at the bottom of this panel. Feel free to drop your question in. And at the end, we'll try to get to the questions to be able to answer those as soon as we can. So for those who aren't familiar with Kibo, I just wanted to give you a quick overview before we kick off. We are a composable commerce platform supporting B2C, B2B, e-commerce, order management, and subscription solutions. We're highly ranked across analysts, very trusted in the industry for our modern technology. We're very proud of our 98% customer retention rate. And you can see some of the customers that we support there. We support a mix of mid-market as well as enterprise customers across different verticals in retail. Okay, so just to kick things off, I think all of us can agree here that customer experience is important, and data proves that a good buying experience results in higher sales and retention. So just to level set on the definition of omnichannel commerce, to us, omnichannel really means that we're enabling enterprises to seamlessly engage with customers across channels, across all of their brands, across all of their sites. So omnichannel breaks down channel silos to create a unified experience. It doesn't matter what channel you're on. It should be the same experience. It should be very seamless for customers to be able to engage. We're going to talk about some best practices here today around convenience and consistency and relevancy. Now, this isn't a new topic. I think we've been talking about omnichannel for years and years, but it's still very challenging, I think, for companies to get to that point where they do have a very great experience for their customers. And so I'm going to pass it over to Nooper. She's going to chat a little bit about the challenges here.
Sure. And as Megan pointed out, right, this is not something new that has come today. Companies have been trying to get to omnichannel for a long time, and we have been having these discussions with our customers for a long time. And why is that a challenge? Because, I mean, inventory data, if you talk about customer data, catalog data, promotions data, everything is siloed and in multiple systems. There is no one source of truth, and it's hard to bring it together. And that has been a challenge as we talk to customers from, a digital transformation perspective. So Shirley, I would be very interested to, hear your point of view here. How have you transformed companies to omnichannel, and what challenges have you seen in your career, and how have you worked through that?
I think the challenges are very common as we all went through from the past, that from different generation of utilizing technology. I think in general, how we do it is we really should, in my opinion, have customer first, have the mindset that what our customers really want and how we can serve them the best experience. I think in general, we have to look at the quick wins, and then in order to immediately knock off the low hanging fruit, but meanwhile have a forward thinking mindset, see the big picture, think small, but think big, start small, and also scale fast. I think the biggest challenges that commonly that I've seen in multiple organizations, I think number one is really the leadership, the mindset, and how the company set the strategy forward. Secondly is also with that the financial funding, the support, and as well overall your technology debt. So ideally, if we start a new company, a brand new, I start everything new, but unfortunately that's not the reality. We all step into a world that either the company has 100 years. I've worked at a company that had over 130 years, very rich history, culture, or you have over 40 years is good enough for you to deal with, right, the siloed data and technology in multiple systems, in the different ages. So again, with all at once, there's no way you can replace everything overnight. So then we have to be nimble, we have to be flexible and take the agile approach to figure out where you can win quickly and how you put together your roadmap for your next 1 year, 3-year plan, so that eventually accomplish the digitization and modernization.
Agreed. Yes. I mean, as we interact with a lot of customers, I mean, it's not uncommon, right? AS400s, the legacy tool built on a technology. So we are all talking API, but we do have to address that, right? And that is not the lowest hanging fruit for most of these retailers, right? That's not what you want to modernize first. Your lowest hanging fruit is always where the customer is interacting at the front end. And that is where typically companies start with. So thank you for the insight. Megan, back to you.
And I think when you are looking at what is a good experience, right? I think often data prevents companies from being able to have a good experience when they don't have that visibility, where they don't have that connectivity. And so these are all examples to us of good experiences and experiences that customers are expecting to have today. For example, customers want to be able to browse a website, easily find a product, search inventory. They want to search inventory at their local store. They want to be able to have various fulfillment options, whether that's buy online, pick up in store, or maybe they want something just shipped to home, right? And they want to be able to see when is their purchase going to be delivered and being able to understand that before they purchase. And that's very common sense. I think everyone is expecting that, but it's hard to do when you have that siloed data. And I think that's the key. Another great example, when maybe you place an order, you're having an issue with the order, you should be able to easily contact a customer service rep, get an update on your order. You would expect that customer service rep to be able to replace an order if you have an issue with it. And that should happen across any channel, regardless of the experience. And I think lastly, subscriptions, that's definitely something that most D2C companies have to deal with day in and day out. It should be, no different than buying a one-time product. You should have that same seamless experience where you can order a product that can then be a delivered product monthly or quarterly or weekly based on when you need it. You should be able to have the same experience in not only purchasing those products, but also customizing those products as your needs evolve and change. And I think that type of experience, again, it's very hard to do that, and giving more back to the customers for letting them have that flexibility and that choice. So let's talk a little bit about just some key elements of a shopping experience. The first one will be convenience.
Yes. As we think about convenience, right? I mean, we are all shoppers, we are all consumers, and we have all been spoiled, right? So when we think about omnichannel now, it is no more like we are talking about the mobile channel and we are talking about the call center. All these social media channels are coming into play right now as well. We're talking about TikTok, we're talking about Instagram, we're talking about Facebook, we're talking about all of that. And consumers expect a unified experience across the board, wherever they are interacting with you, right? And that is why it becomes hard, because from a consumer perspective, I want my checkout experience to be the same. It has to be convenient. If you look at the stat here, like 70% of say that, they prioritize convenience. And they would switch brands if they don't get that. So not only it should be like checkout should be convenient, you're providing the same inventory of information everywhere. You're providing same buying options on every channel. So all that has to happen from a convenience to basically acquire that customer from a customer acquisition perspective. And as we think about making that promise to the customer, if we go to the next slide, Megan, how do we keep that promise to the customer is also important. So from keeping a promise, basically now you're talking about inventory, obviously across endless aisle, across all the fulfillment networks. And we are talking about how we can fulfill that to customer on time. So we made a promise to the customer. Now we have to make sure that we keep that promise to the customer. So the intelligent inventory and intelligent order routing becomes very, very important from that perspective. Back to you, Megan.
And so I think another key one is consistency, right? I mean, there are so many more channels now to be able to purchase information than before. And you need to make sure that you have that consistent experience. If someone is on their mobile phone, they go to your e-commerce site, they add something to their cart, but then they decide they want to check out on their desktop. Do you have an experience that supports that? Are you saving that information? Are you saving their browsing history? I think a big piece of consistency goes back to that companies expect that they're going to collect information and consumers expect the same. They know that you're collecting that information. So making sure that you're leveraging it in the right way is pretty important. And I think when we talk about some strategies there's obviously, unified data. It's such a critical one. If you don't have that, you're going to have a very hard time being able to offer a consistent, but also a personalized experience. Then being able to make sure that your messaging is consistent, your products are consistent, your customer service protocols are consistent. I think omni-channel pricing and promotions is becoming even more important for the respect that, when you have a pricing strategy and a promotion strategy, if it's not consistent across different channels, whether that's your website, whether that's your brick and mortar location, whether it's maybe some third-party marketplaces that you're selling your products through, there's going to be some questions. And I think that lends itself to a poor user experience. Omnichannel pricing can also be very useful when retailers have, different pricing strategies, maybe based on like a shopper's location or, based on specific brands. Maybe you have a higher tier brand and a lower tier brand. Like all of that needs to be considered when you're thinking about omnichannel. And when it comes to promotions, just making sure you have a very robust promotion engine to be able to handle different types of promotions based on your specific brands, also maybe based on certain loyalty status, and that they can apply promotional codes no matter the channel or the source. And so when we're thinking about consistency, one thing that we often hear about from customers is that effective catalog management is so important, because that's really the crux of part of your experience. It's the backbone of being able to manage your product information, specifications, pricing details, your availability. It's also very important when it comes to site search. If people want to search for specific products, what kind of criteria do they have to search from, and how are you thinking about that as part of your strategy from a product complexity perspective, from a geographic scope? And so a well-structured catalog ensures that customers can easily find information. It's very comprehensive product information, which is important, I think, from a availability, a searchability, and a conversion perspective. And so having, very accurate product data is important, making sure that there's seamless integration with real-time updates to maintain accuracy. Also, visual merchandising and scalability become important, especially as you have large volumes of product data, just to help with ensuring that consistent experience.
And as we go further and think about relevancy, right? I mean, personalization is obviously very important in these conversations as well. So the way I think about personalization, I mean, there is one static personalization and there is a dynamic personalization. If we know the customer segmentation, if we know that this is my priority customer, you want to treat them differently. You want to personalize that experience for them and create a amazing brand experience for them so that, there is a customer retention path there for sure. And then obviously, personalization is also that, you are looking for, say, pink shoes for your daughter. And then those are the things that are being shown to you in that moment, in that session, and so on. So they're gathering more data about you. But balancing opt-in and privacy rules is also very important in these contexts as we are talking about these personalization experiences in different regions and how can customers or retailers walk that fine line with that. So Shirley, I would love to understand, how do you think about the customer journey and how your brand's experience has been evolved overall with personalization? And what elements are most important when implementing an omnichannel journey for you?
Yeah, it's a good question. So PacSun, our core customers are Gen Z customers, and we all know that they are technical savvy. They are very active on social platforms, and they follow the key opinion leaders. And so our strategy is really, like you said, relevancy is essential. We meet our customers where they are, such as our four pillars are really focused on fashion, sports, music, and art. And also, I think it really matters to provide what they want, and at the right channel where they prefer to shop. So in addition to our website, pacsun.com, we have a mobile app that, we have a good percentage of customers that use mobile app. We're also actively selling on Amazon. So we do fulfill by Amazon, fulfill by merchant. We enabled direct checkout on Instagram. So when they see the ad and they can shop immediately and they don't have to navigate back to pacsun.com, you can just check out seamless. In the last, I think 2 years, we have been working with TikTok. So our customers now can shop on TikTok. Like you both mentioned, same experience, same shopping experience. So I think to enable unified commerce, I agree with everything you just said. Like single inventory, or we also call it a global inventory. So the unique the single source of the truth, which is your availability. By now, I think most of the retailers have enabled ship from store, and also you fulfill from warehouses. Either it's your own warehouse or it's 3PL you engage with. So the inventory availability is really important, critical for you to not to take the orders like you promise, but you can't deliver because you oversold. Your inventory is shared across platforms. Another thing that we need to think about is the single platform for as a brain that sit in the middle for decision making, to centralize the fulfillment decision making, to decide where to fulfill from. That is the best customer experience, also economically making sense for the company and protects your margin, right? And another thing I can think of is the payment gateway and processor. In order to have this unified commerce, you have to have a single gateway, have the token in the single vault, so that when the customer check out online and bring to your store to return, you're not going to tell the customer, I cannot, because that I don't have your token. I don't know where to return your money to, right? So have the single token also helps us to prevent fraudulent transactions, make sure that we can return to the original payment type. The next one I think is equally important is the return experience. Amazon overall lifted every customer's expectation in terms of return, and also during pandemic and post-pandemic, the customer need was amplified. So we also have customers now, they probably buy 3 sizes and try at home and return one. I think it's convenient for most of us, like working parents, right? Saves a lot of time. You don't have to make a trip to the mall, but return has to be convenient. If we all have to mail back, or you have to take to the stores, you don't enable this convenience, like multi ways that you can go drop off somewhere as a UPS convenience stores, and you can mail if you decide to mail. You can return in the stores if you happen to go to the mall, and actually enabling return in store gives you the upselling opportunity.
Examples, obviously, you have done it so many times, and this is the same thing that we hear from all our prospects. Couple of things I will also say is that you made a really good point about the customer data. Like, it doesn't matter what channel you place the order on. If you go to the store, you want them to know what this order is, who I am, and it's a great opportunity for the store associate to upsell as well. Similarly, when they call the call center, I mean, the unified customer data, which is the first bullet point here, it is so relevant. It's not just about inventory that, hey, we are providing inventory to all these channels. You need to understand your customer across channels. So when they call the call center, your call center is not just a servicing tool. Basically, it becomes a revenue generating channel because you know their history, you know their wish list, you know what you can basically appease them to save the sale or avoid a return, for that example. So what you said definitely resonated with me, and I'm sure it resonated with the audience as well. As we give an example in the next slide for one of our customers, Ace Hardware. Sorry, I thought I got kicked out again. That didn't happen. So as we think about Ace Hardware, right? One of the things that, first of all, if people don't know who Ace Hardware is, I mean, they are a hardware and DIY retailer. They have 5,400 store locations, and they use both Kibo order management as well as the front end, the e-commerce solution for that, including our search capabilities as well. They went live with our solution in 2019, and then everybody knows what happened in 2020. COVID hit. So their e-commerce channel definitely saw a boost, and it was very important to provide that amazing experience to anybody coming to their site. What they wanted was to provide that in-store experience that they had with their consumers to their online shoppers. So when you log into their site, you automatically are assigned a store location. You can obviously change it, but it provides that in-store experience kind of to their shoppers. And when you think about this search from a consumer perspective, right? People are not just searching that, hey, I want this Weber grill. Hey, I want to grill for hot weather, or I want to grill for, I live in New York. I want a grill that will stay nice in the cold weather outdoors, etc. So irrespective of how you're searching, the search results should be personalized and should be relevant for those consumers as well. And that is, again, like it all ties into that customer acquisition strategy, your search, how you're engaging with your customers on your site with the real-time inventory data, real-time expected delivery dates. You're providing all that to keep them interested, to keep them engaged. And ultimate goal is to obviously, have that customer become a brand loyal customer. Back to you, Megan.
Thank you, Nooper. So the next section we're going to chat about is just bridging the gap between online and offline channels, which really does require having an integrated and interoperable tech stack. And I think order management technology is a key part of that, mainly because you're able to track inventory, you're able to offer various fulfillment options to help with that omni-channel experience. And so on this slide, we won't cover all of these, but these are just some examples of use cases that order management or OMS technology can solve for. And so some of the more important ones, I think definitely for an omni-channel experience would span inventory management, it would span fulfillment, it would span order routing, to be able to have all of this connectivity working together to be able to offer that experience that your customers are looking for. So for example, think about a BOPIS experience. That requires real-time inventory visibility. You need to be able to know across all store locations where that inventory is accessible. And you also need to be able to present the closest location possible to be able to fulfill that order. And so thinking about real-time inventory management, as Shirley mentioned a little bit earlier, you need to be able to see where is your inventory? Is it in a warehouse? Is it in your store? Is it in a third-party location? And how are you managing that stock across locations? And if someone were to make a purchase, do you have inventory on hand? Do you have the capability to see future inventory available? Maybe you know something's out of stock, but you're going to get it back in stock in 7 days. That way you can take advantage, save the sale when someone makes an order. And flexible fulfillment, very critical part about order management. Customers today want to be able to have flexibility in terms of how they get their products. I actually had a wedding I was going to the other day, and I realized that the shoes that I had did not work with my dress, and I needed to pick up something quickly. And so being able to easily see where those shoes are at the location that's nearest you, or if you were ordering something, do you have the option to do same-day shipping? So that way you can have your product as soon as you need it. Very, very important, I think, depending on the experience. And to achieve this, businesses have to integrate various channels. They need to integrate inventory and their systems across brick and mortar stores, their e-commerce sites, mobile apps. They need to understand where their products live. They should look at strategies, even like last mile delivery, vendor drop ship, to be able to get products there quickly. So lots of use cases, I think, for order management, critical use cases that are needed as part of being able to offer that fulfilling customer experience.
And as we talk to all these customers, right, there are multiple use cases that are mentioned here that we see that are basically important for their transformational journey. I mean, inventory is obviously a conversation we have very often, right? But as we think about inventory, it's not just about on-hand inventory right now, right? It's also about, when is my future inventory coming in, and can I sell it as soon as I have a commitment to it, right? If the data changes, if the fulfillment changes, if the date changes on it, am I able to give that information to the customer upfront, right? Those are the important things. We talk about, offering multiple payment options, and it's changing every day, right? PayPal was a thing, but now it's all about Klarna. It's all about, and tomorrow it's going to be different, right? So is your platform flexible enough to provide those options to your end consumers quickly? And again, across all channels, as Shirley pointed out as well. Fulfillment options. Drop shipping, obviously, buy online, pick up in store, ship from store. Those are table stakes right now. But is the platform flexible to do some unorthodox, like, pick up from the dock locations? So I'm talking to multiple furniture customers, and they're like, their restocking fees is so high that they are like, if customers can come and pick up from our cross-dock location, that's great. So is the platform flexible enough to provide those options? Early access to inventory, about future inventory, pre-orders, not just back order scenarios, but pre-order scenarios, like Nike drops a shoe on this particular date, can we pre-order, and how much can we pre-order? So we are not over-promising and getting into those back order scenarios, etc. Returns, giving the flexibility to return in various payment methods, not just the original payment method. That is also something that I hear from our customers and prospects that we are talking to. And also that helps retailers to recognize the revenue. If you can refund in a gift card across all channels, and you can refund in the store credit across all channels, I think that definitely helps retailers to still recognize the revenue and still keep the customer coming, and give that upsell opportunity from those perspectives. So as I think about, this, I would love, Shirley, your point of view, that in your experience, what is the hardest of these pillars to overcome? What is the lowest hanging fruits? I know you talked a little bit about that, but can you share some best practices regarding order management and how it relates to, the experience across channels for the consumers?
Yeah, I think in terms of order management, you have to, first of all, have the right order management engine. It has to be intelligent enough and being able to integrate with all 300 degrees, everything that you need to integrate with, including your internal ERP, your pricing, your item catalog, and e-commerce, as well external, such as if you have a 3PL, you have a social commerce, you have everywhere payment, etc. I think integration has been such a challenge across decades. Like my job title is CIO. We used to say we spend 70% of our time dealing with integration. That I stands for integration officer. So now with the modern technology, it has become a lot quicker, a lot better. But still, for example, when it came to the market has enabled TikTok Shop, how do I, integrate it? I hear constantly that they say, "Hey, Paxson, you guys are so quick when you need to, when we have new market initiatives that you're able to handle it, while a lot of others that they are blocked by their technical capabilities." Like recently, there is a new platform who our Gen Z customers use, their usage has been going up quickly. So we want to enable it. And then so now you get to deal with, can you directly integrate it with your order management? How long does it take? Is there a service that provides that integration? Have they been pre-integrated, etc.? So I think this is an enabler, also is a blocker. In my opinion, my philosophy is that, which is I share with my team, as a technologist, we are the supporting department for a merchant, for a commerce. That I never want to be the reason, because business cannot scale or business cannot take the new opportunity because technology can't support it. I think it's important that we have an open mind. We figure out short term how we can overcome and long term how we can optimize.
Great point. Absolutely. So as we think about one of our customers here, Bosov. So if people don't know about Bosov, they're a family-owned department store with more than 50 locations in Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Ohio, Maryland region, and 26 of their stores are basically in Pennsylvania. So as I think about the challenges, everything that you talked about, Shirley, that is exactly what they were facing with, right? They wanted to unify the customer experience, do omnichannel for their customers, but they had multiple systems and homegrown OMS applications. And obviously it was hindering their operational productivity, and it held, Boscov's back to create that and deliver that modern customer experience that the customers were looking for. And we already know that if it's not convenient, customers are going to switch brands. That perspective. So obviously they had lack of inventory visibility across all their brick and mortar stores. Imagine walking into the store, not finding your size, but the store cannot tell you if it's available, 5 miles down the road, right? It's very frustrating. And as consumers, as you rightly said, we are all spoiled. So we want to know, like Megan wanted the shoe. She wants to know, like, hey, if I'm going there, it has to be available, right? So it's table stakes now. So they definitely wanted to modernize that. And as they have modernized their experience from an OMS perspective, and if I just focus on OMS, which is basically inventory and how I'm fulfilling and providing those options to the customers, you can see the stats here, right? That how much they had increase in their buy online pickup in stores, their fill rate, and how they were able to, obviously lower cost of ownership because you have the right solution in place. So when you started the conversation, Shirley, you mentioned that you have to buy the right tool. So that's definitely one thing, like, you have to think about, like, is this tool right? And is this going to be to integrate with my backend? Because the backend is not always going to be replaced immediately, right? There has to be a transition path to get to those lowest hanging fruits.
I can't hear you. Muted.
Thank you, Shirley. And just to transition here, when it comes to AI, I think that has really been an enabler for a lot of companies, as well as obviously the technologies they're supporting. And so just to level set, when it comes to understanding the differences, I feel like lately GenAI is becoming that catch-all term for any kind of AI intelligence. But really, AI is more of an all-inclusive term, in which case GenAI and ML are very much well-known branches of. And so machine learning is more of systems that help learn and improve based on data they consume. So identifying different patterns and making decisions with minimal human intervention, improving over time as it's exposed to more data to help. And so some examples that we're probably familiar with are like predictive analytics or promotion and pricing optimization. Whereas GenAI uses different programs to process large data sets to create new content, new images or videos based on this information. And so we wanted to dive a little deeper into these today And, we've talked about real-time inventory a bit already and the importance of this, and tools like demand forecasting. When you have that integrated, now you're able to leverage data to deliver and recommendations based on where inventory is located, how to move that inventory, and then drive further optimizations around order routing or create accurate fulfillment date calculations. And so that's just one commerce use case, but I know surely this is a topic that's very familiar to you. I would love for you to maybe go through some of these use cases and share and expand on them, some that you see often versus not so often.
Yeah, thank you. So this is a great summary for the use cases and in generally in the machine learning area. As we all know, machine learning or artificial intelligence is not so new. And the concept started in 1950. I think by 2010, Amazon already started using ML to optimize their warehouse layout, and they had a bot. I think it's called the Kiva for warehouse picking. As well, they definitely use machine learning to do their demand forecast. As back then, I was amazed at how quickly I could get delivery if I'm ordering something for my kids' school supply, and then how does it just show up tomorrow? How did they know? They did forecast it. They know that within this zip code, how many school age elementary school versus high school, and they pre-ordered before back to school. So in the recent years, I think I don't want to spend too much time on the security and fraud protection. Security for endpoint, for fraud protection, privileged account, that is another huge topic, and that's what the CISOs do for their career. But I want to mention that, like you said, Megan, demand forecasting, allocation, replenishment, as well merchandise, financial planning, assortment planning, dynamic pricing optimization, that whole area has such a huge opportunity to be powered by AI, for AI to leverage that vast amount of data across platforms to power this planning, to make sure that you make the right decision in terms of what to buy and assortment, and allocate the product to the right location at the right time. So inventory management, that opportunity I think is huge for any B2B, B2C, any D2C, to be able to understand the customer's requirement, also incorporate the fossil factors like the weather, right? The big events that's happening. Like we sell Formula One outfit, so there are races, here, there, Las Vegas, Austin, etc. So with AI-powered demand planning and retail inventory management, that work, it's almost impossible for a human being to be able to handle that level. I think AI is going to provide a tremendous help for every business to protect their margin, to have the right inventory to scale the sales and the profitability. Another area recently, it's actually becomes more of a really call out for business, which is analytics. I think compared the traditional BI versus AI analytics, I think BI has the huge advantage. Again, the vast amount of data across platforms. In addition, that I think one thing AI can do is that it can find the hidden patterns that we have not thought about. In general, as any enterprise, any small or large business, our analysts have their way of reading the reports, dumping the data into Excel and pivot, but we're not good at answering questions such as if your CEO asks you, hey, why this year, last week, something was abnormal. It takes a lot of effort to drill in, but you also, because your mindset is routinely that has already been made, and that's what you've been doing, that's how your supervisor taught you what to do, then we potentially will miss the opportunity to recognize the hidden patterns or opportunities. So that's something AI can do. And the next is the predictive. I think our human mind is very limited in terms of using the data to predict the pattern, the future, the trend, and also come up with a descriptive recommendations. So, and instead of giving the chart and just the raw data set, now AI can really make recommendations. Hey, this is what I've learned, the AI has learned, and here is the AI recommend you the activities you can take. So it really enables decision makers to quickly get into the business and to take a reaction.
Thank you, Shirley. And I think similarly, GenAI, very different, right? So do you want to maybe expand on some of these use cases as well?
Oh yeah, thank you for giving me the opportunity. I think in different than machine learning is more made for repeating the tasks that Gen AI now can be more interactive. So it is great to leverage. I've implemented I think more than 15 different solutions in different area to improve customer journey, shopping experience, and search, etc. Just like everything you have listed. One example that I can share, for example, is the search relevance. And if you try different website, and I will encourage everyone to try to put a search like the keywords you put together has some conflicts, such as you look for long sleeve, short dress, and try what you get. If it's a traditional keyword search, it will first come everything long sleeve. And like long sleeve men's t-shirt has nothing to do with the dresses. But if it's an AI powered search, it knows your intent. It knows what you're exactly looking for. So it will provide you the relevant products. So that's the opportunity for your conversion rate, is for your purchase value. Another experience that I think is fascinating, it is the shop similar. So with that intent, AI can quickly, instead of human being, traditionally we go there. I think traditionally, if you look at Amazon first launched that, yeah, people buy this, also buy the others. I think that's before machine learning and generative AI, and merchandisers has to go there to tag it, right, to link it. But now AI can understand the shopper's intent and then contextualize through your search and understand what you're really looking for, and then provide you the similar. When the item is out of stock, and if AI provides you similar products, and then you're like, okay, it works, that's what I'm looking for, instead of you do another round of search. So that's the customer efficiency, shopping efficiency. I think customer loves it, and the merchants also benefit from that.
Thank you, Shirley. And I think just even thinking through Gen AI, I mean, really Gen AI, machine learning, AI in general, it's designed to make people's lives easier and designed to give them more insights and more optimizations and better efficiency and productivity. And so, something that we've been exploring here at Kibo, we've been exploring Gen AI, machine learning, AI in general for quite some time. But what we're finding is that there's so many day-to-day tasks that users of our platform are trying to do every single day. And really intelligence can help make that easier. And so these are just a couple use cases. Other technologies are starting to look at these as well. Like, how can I improve key users of my platform's lives? Like, how can we make it easier for everyone to be able to do things like revise product information on a product page, or create an image that can easily be pulled into a piece of content? Or if you're on the customer service side, being able to leverage Gen AI to easily create new responses or content to help answer common questions or edit orders with little or no oversight based on information from prior cases or data that you have. And so there's so many different use cases when it comes to Gen AI, as Shirley had mentioned, but really it's designed to help. And I think One other area just to start to transition is to more of composable technology and how that can support the experience. Because when it comes to how you architect your technology strategy, you traditionally, I would say, commerce and order management functions and other functions, they've been managed in more of that suite approach where you may have your CRM, your MarTech data, your ERP, and it's convenient because you have all these data points, you have all these technologies in one platform. But over the years, it became a frustrating experience for many brands because then you had to essentially try to integrate new technology, and these tools are very rigid. And so then brands started to adopt best of breed technologies to be able to meet use cases that they needed to be able to get more freedom and to customize. And of course, with that flexibility comes more maintenance. And so what we've started to see is that companies have started to evolve to a composable strategy. And really, this is a path that allows you to have the flexibility, but also the assurance that if you do need to pivot to new technologies down the road, that it's easier to integrate. You're able to share that data. You're able to really rapidly transform your technology stack and your experience based on as your needs as they evolve. And so I wanted to share this study. This was from the MACH Alliance. If you're not familiar with the MACH Alliance, they're a nonprofit organization that advocates for open technology systems. And they had a survey that came out recently where they surveyed IT decision makers to understand how many of them are using MACH technology or composable strategies. And so what they found is that it is growing. The adoption has been growing just to be able to get that freedom and to be able to really respond to changing environments and changing experiences. As Shirley mentioned, there's new channels coming out every day, and brands have to be very quick to be able to respond and leverage those. And so this study found that 85% of global IT decision makers saw evidence even of using ROI based on those MACH investments. And so MACH stands for microservices, API first, cloud native, and headless technology. And this slide here, I wanted to bring it up because it was a really interesting way of thinking about your technology stack. Obviously, a lot of these technologies, especially the larger the enterprise, you may be using all of these technologies. But what this is just different categories of digital commerce technology stack and applications that contribute to them, from your core commerce applications like product discovery in your e-commerce system, to commerce enrichment engines, which will help you with personalization of that experience, commerce operations to help you managing more of the behind the scenes core processes like content creation, your fulfillment, logistics, data and analytics. That's so important, especially as being able to leverage that data to inform your future commerce strategy. So I really loved this view just to think through all these different pieces, but I also think it illustrates the need for composable because you are really integrating in all of these solutions and things are changing so often, and being able to have a strategy from a technology perspective that is so open, that is able to be connected, can bring a lot of benefits. And with that, I want to just have Nooper kind of go through, what and why for composable technology and how it benefits you.
I love the previous slide, I'll say, because it really talks about composable in a beautiful way, right? So to define composable again, what monolithic applications did was basically, have all the data, all the information, all the functionality in one place, right? Composable is basically breaking down complex systems into modular components that can be customized or integrated independently, right? And you'll be able to swiftly adapt to changing customer preferences and market dynamics. For example, when COVID hit, curbside pickup became a thing, right? There was nothing before that, and tomorrow it might be something else. So how do you adapt to those changes quickly? So if we think about that, right, in the previous slide, as Megan said, that all these new pieces that are there, Shirley brought up a good point about personalization. For example, you buy a monolithic solution, but there is a new innovative tool in the market that everybody's using for personalization, and you want to use that. You don't want to re-platform your entire stack to use that piece, and that becomes a whole project, a long project, and the ROI is reduced significantly because you're not able to effectively go to market faster with it and not recognize the revenue or market share that you have, right? And if I think about composable, if we think about business teams love it. Think about, marketing and merchandising experts. They can make changes without IT intervention. I have talked to customers where every request has to go to an IT team, and there is a case, and they take the case, and it takes weeks for them to react to the needs, right? So they really like it because it's decoupled from all the other systems, so they can make changes in their environment. For that, technical teams love it because again, it's a modern concept. As you see here, it's API first. It's new technology. It's able to integrate faster with other modern technologies like new personalization engines, new last mile delivery options, for example. So they love working with the new technology. And then C-suite, right? Because composability lowers the total cost of ownership, time to speed to market. That is a major selling point when we go and talk to the C-execs about it. So based on what you see here, Shirley, like I would love, what is the other benefits that come to mind?
I think you summarized very well. The biggest impact to business, again, I always think that IT, we're enabler, we're not the blocker, right? So again, having such a composable technology platform really allows us to quickly engage with new partners, to expand to marketplaces, etc. So again, this mindset, market mindset, and also such a robust technology platform that really allows business to unlock yourself from business opportunities and from scalability.
Absolutely. So as we talk to other customers, right? I mean, these are the things that we definitely think that customers should consider. Obviously, you're buying in the modern world, right? And you have to future-proof your investment. You can't switch entire stack every few years, right? A new channel comes in, you shouldn't be able to, like, hey, we have to scrap everything, and now this is the thing we need to buy. Right. So when you're evaluating, obviously buying for the modern, buying from the flexibility, future-proofing your current investment, microservices based, obviously that's where the world is moving. So it has to be API first, and MACH covers all of that, right? Extensibility. We talked about like there's no solution that will solve exactly all your needs. How flexible is the platform to make it specific for Paxson or for Ace Hardware, for example? Because again, same platform, just different needs. How easy it is to tweak from an IT perspective, and I also think from a user perspective as well, Shirley, right? Like how easy it is from a business user perspective. You also made a good point about, like as you're thinking about this digital transformation, you have to think about customer first. Right. Similarly, from a platform perspective, it has to be business user first as well. Can business user use this tooling effectively and be less dependent so that IT can go and innovate in that direction? Right. And obviously, you touched upon scalability as well. So these are the things that definitely we think like as retailers are evaluating solutions, they should think about. And as we think about Kibo, there are a few things that I wanted to highlight here, right? We talked a lot about, how bringing the data together on one platform helps, how to maximize your investment, right? So the 4 solutions that we go to market from a single platform perspective is our commerce solutions, both B2B commerce and B2C commerce, order management solution, and subscriptions management as well. And what I want to highlight is that these are again microservices based. So each of these solutions are basically built on the same platform. There's no replication or duplication of data, right? The commerce service the order service, for example, is being called by e-commerce modules here as well as the OMS, as well as the subscriptions. There's no duplication of that data. So you have that unified view from a customer perspective, from a catalog perspective, from an order perspective, et cetera, as well. And that is why when I gave you examples about Ace Hardware and Bosov, the total cost of ownership becomes very low. All the integrations, say, if you have done for NoMS implementations, are reused by the e-commerce. So you're already sifted 70% way through of the implementations. So a lot of our customers definitely love to expand with us because total cost of ownership and the ROI is very high on the platform, as are shown here by the stats.
And just to summarize, we wanted to just share a couple key points. Obviously, omnichannel, I think, is never done. There's always new platforms and new tools evolving, and customers' preferences are changing. But when you're thinking about iterating on your commerce strategy and your omnichannel strategy, whether you're preparing for or you're already well on the path and you want to be able to make it more consistent, more relevant, convenient strategy for your customers, assess your company's goals and objectives. Consider factors like product preference in physical stores, improving customer satisfaction, increasing sales. The second tip we would share would be to map out the customer journey and identify any areas where customers may have friction during some of those interactions. The third would be to really know your audience. So what channels are they shopping on? What are their behaviors? What are their preferences? And use that to help inform your strategy. The fourth, analyze your technology infrastructure. So, determine whether your current systems that you have can support omnichannel or if you need to look at new solutions. Think about consolidating legacy tech systems. Newport talked a little bit about lower TCO, but you want that flexibility. You want to prepare for the future. So making sure that you have flexible technology to do that. And then the last one, leverage intelligence. I think that machine learning and GenAI, there's so many interesting use cases, not even all of what we talked about today. There's so many more that can really help you with simplifying operations and improving productivity and efficiencies. So with that, just wanted to end with a couple reading material. If you want to learn more about any of these topics, we have some great ebooks. One is a composable commerce ebook. It talks to you a little bit more about how to approach the strategy, things to consider if you're deciding to move to that, whether it's good, whether it's not so good based on where you currently are in your journey, how to really bridge the gap between digital and physical. This is just some best practices we found that customers are leveraging to have an omnichannel experience. And then the last one, if you are looking at new platforms and you want to try Kibo, we're doing a special offer for all attendees today, a free trial. We'd love to be able to support you and talk more and learn about some of your challenges. So with that, I will give it back to Joanna to wrap us up.
Well, thank you all for joining us today, and a special thank you to our esteemed guests, Megan, Shirley, and Nupur, for sharing your insights and expertise. We're so grateful for the time and knowledge that you brought to the session today. If you'd like to stay connected with the Retail AI Council, please join us. You can visit retailaicouncil.com to become a member. It's free and opens up access to resources, events, and the latest AI insights from our community. You can also join us and connect with us on LinkedIn. And mark your calendar for our next event, which is a webinar called Get the Prompt, AI in Social Media Video with Ashley Gross on November 19th. So thank you all again for being here. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank you.